Welcome to Caribbean Focus. Caribbean Focus is the community voice of the Caribbean Research Center at Medgar Evers College. The weekly radio program highlighting Caribbean educational, cultural, and social affairs airs on WNYE 91.5 FM. And we are streaming live on Facebook at Caribbean Focus CF, as well as Caribbean Research Center at MEC, and that is on YouTube. I am your host, Hermina Marcellin, and joining us today is Miss Pauline Findlay. Findlay, a Caribbean American poet, writer, poetry in motion filmmaker, and chef. Welcome, Pauline, to
Hi, how are
Caribbean
you?
Focus.
Thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome. As a matter of fact, this interview has been months in the making. So I
Yeah.
want to thank you so very much for your unwavering commitment to making sure that we had the show going. So thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Truly, I'm honored for you to even have me on. So it's okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. May you share with our viewing and listening audience about your background? Where are you from?
I am from Trinidad, Trini to the bone, right? From Trinidad and Tobago. Yes.
Great. And being from Trinidad and Tobago, we know of Trinidad and throughout the Caribbean of the history and the rich history of creativity. Um, does your upbringing in Trinidad have any influence on the work you do as a poet, as a writer?
Well, I've had a lot of creative people in my family, and my mother was a singer. And my father is still a mass man. Actually, he's down there right now as we speak, Ben and Waya for a carnival. So yes, I get it honestly from both my parents.
And I want to stay focused on your writing abilities as a poet, as a filmmaker. How are you able to connect the two, poetry and filmmaking?
You know, as I have written a lot of my poems, it's very complex, and I've always had a love for movies and for theater. And as a young performer, I used to go be a ballet dancer. I saw productions from Fournier and Greco. And so my mother had a lot of influence to do with that as well. So I decided to merge the two, my loves for movies and my love for the spoken word, and put them together visually because it was brought to my attention a lot of times, this is very intense. This is very difficult. And I just wanted to see, could I do it? And I fell in love with it. And it's nothing I would rather not do than to make film every day.
And to that point, to make film every day, I want to show a snippet of
Okay.
what it means when you say you are connecting poetry with film in your recent production titled Living Her Life on Broken Wings. And we're going to delve further into that, but set us up with what we're about to see here.
The thing is, with Living Her Life in Broken Wings, it's more about when you have a disconnect from joy, and no matter what happens in this person's life, no matter who walks into this woman's life, she can't seem to connect her joy with living. And so she constantly metaphorically kills everything in her path, including herself, including even if Jesus reaches for her, she doesn't know how to be happy. And so I had to find a way to interpret that.
Okay, and let us watch.
Caught in the macrame web she spun by internal decadence, leaves her to live her life on broken wings. The totality of carcasses strewn at her feet comes from sagacious deceptions, filling reels of pictorial film, awaiting its panoramic debut. Dilapidated wrought iron gates slump in neglect as empty rope swings from the gallows. Trees bend to the way of sorrowful winds, convoluting impermanency. Effluvium impregnates the air. Excrement released from the bowels of ghouls and jackals leaves her in a high vertiginous state, like the ash residue she snorts from crematoriums. Encompassed in guise and monk's cloth as a semblance motif, she's ensconced in, retreating into self-imposed exile, prowling for pity, living her life on broken wings, forlorn.
Okay.
A lot of complexity into that.
Yes, 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 yes.
It's very
And
intense. I
that
have,
is where I want to delve with you. Please share.
the thing is that what I found with doing my short films is that I've had a lot of support. Um, I look like that because of Robert E. Knight, my sister who does my hair, Roberto Crane, all these amazing Shanice Martino, Dominique Francis, all these people that put all of this effort together. We have Sharon Peavy. I mean, everybody really believes in the work that has showed up for this project, and it wasn't easy. I mean, these guys were sitting in November cold, Philip Giambri, all who is my gatekeeper to hell, basically. He's my brother. I love him. All these people do this for me, for these films to be successful. And for, the thing is, for my book to come out on Pink Trees Press, and for Linda Kleinbob to take a chance on me, it was, again, she's in the film as well. All these people that really just have put their heart in it. And Justin Reed with all the amazing photographs that he takes, Insay Abed and Kara Rosen, all these people that really, and my dad, going back to my dad, the thing is, if you look at the angel, my dad built those wings. If you look at the monster, my dad built that. He was there from morning to night, dragging everything along, assembling things in a cemetery. It's amazing what people will do.
And it does definitely entail complexities. One of them I want to touch about is the lynching scene, and we just saw just a brief snippet of that, which has a daunting, inhumane legacy of racial terror in America. How is this scene connected with the dysfunctional maze of societal issues, extreme behaviors, trauma, and your own transparent self introspection?
As I delved into writing this book, dealing with dysfunction, what I may think is normal, someone else may think is dysfunctional. We know that slavery, it's dysfunction in its highest form. It goes without even saying. Within this film, not only are you willing to go down a dark path, but you're also willing to kill yourself in spiritually in so many ways, dealing with people and society at large. I'm not be able to still find the joy. I find it very disturbing. But the thing is that a lot of my work, I try to connect one to the other. And so the next film, Quotidian, which will have a lot to do with slavery, we will bring back the noose will now be incorporated into the next video. So I always try to find ways to take my work and connect them by something, a familiar word, a familiar scene, something that's mind provoking. It was heartbreaking writing that piece because, through this maze of life, everything is not okay. And it just seems like everything now is just, we've at a point where everything is always all right, down to harming each other as well as ourselves. It's very, it's so I try to touch on everything,
And in
sexual abuse, different things like that.
And in touching on everything, you do have two other films
Mhm.
titled Wednesday and Men of the Holy Order.
Mhm.
Um, and are they an amalgamation of a central theme? What is the message behind it?
Wednesday and Men of the Holy Order deal with both levels of abuse. Um, a relationship between a child and a priest um, is Men of the Holy Order, and the connection between abuse of oneself or being in a relationship and being abused within that relationship, not only physically but mentally. Those things are connected. Um, it's very hard to always decipher um, different aspects of it, but I try to incorporate as much as the words that I can to make the picture clear. Within my films, I try to make it very clear, but we know that these are subject matters that have not gone away. Um, and I do pick up the banner very much for dealing with all kinds of abuse, which, I myself have been a product of. So that's where the self-introspection comes in at. I am very open and very clear about the things that have happened to me, and, when you're being abused by someone who's holding their Bible and, so I can build and pull from all of those things.
So, this recurring theme of dysfunction, as you've just clearly shows, it shows up in your poetry. Then delve a little bit more into your most recent book, Dysfunction, a play on words in the familiar.
Well, dysfunction, again, it was built on really trying to pull the aspects of asking you a main question. If we're going to make life this whole big circus, right? And everything is okay, and no matter what we do, it's all okay. So, what road are you willing to choose? Which is really what the ringmaster is asking you, because now it's a circus. So somebody has to entertain all the stories, right? So I'm going to write all the stories that, although they're not really just that, they're really not entertaining at all. They're really mostly very heartbreaking. But there's always a quality of redemption in my work. So the question is, are you going to stay here with me at the circus because I'm going to tell you a story? Or are you willing to take a road that leads you more toward the light? Which one is it going to be? Is it going, are we staying here? Are we having a good time in our maze? Or are we going to find some peace and solace within ourselves?
Thank you so much for this explanation, actually, which brings me back to the question. You mentioned that in your collection of poetry, to this end, the ringmaster asks, will you take the road to redemption? Right, where a glimmer of hope shines, or remain at the circus questioning what is real. From your own self introspection, what would be your choice?
I will take the road to redemption.
Hmm.
I've already lived in the circus, right? I've seen the puppets. I've lived my hellish part, and I do still write for those who have something to say. There's always something to say for people's heartbreak, for the not understanding which way should I go. They're very confused. They're hurt. But for me, I will always follow the road to redemption. I just find that the sitting in the light and a little bit of that sun feels a whole lot better than hanging out, at this crazy circus. Although I love them all. I love them all. Because without my characters, I would not be here, without all the manic behaviors, I wouldn't be here.
And you mentioned about loving them all. So, which one of your poems do you feel has a universal message of navigating through this dysfunction?
Quotidian is very close to my heart, um, as an African American woman. Um, and the reason why is because, again, we talk about going through slavery to now. And the question is, as a woman, when did I become ordinary? And this is one of the things that I really would love to have an answer to. And I do call out sometimes to some of my male poets waiting for an answer, when did I become ordinary? But it is one of the things that, even though I have not performed it yet, it is the next film. Look out for it. That is one of the ones that's really close to my heart that I feel will help guide us through. And women walking uphill, which is very poignant for women in general. And when I talk about women, strap your babies on your back and walk uphill, it has nothing to do with just a physical baby. It has everything to do with your dreams, your hopes, everything that you can think of that you would want to do in your life. Believe in something greater than yourself, that kind of thing.
Believing in something greater than yourself. So, do you find that in your writing, there is this belief of something greater than yourself, which prompts you to write? Or do you think there is this mixture? With your experience, they say that experience is the greatest teacher,
Yes.
right? How are you uh, navigating the two?
Well, the experience, a lot of my experiences are in this collection.
Hmm.
Um, you'll never be able to define which ones are real and which ones are not,
Hmm.
because I probably will never really tell it. Um, but it's important. It's important to lift people up. It's important to know that no matter where you are, that somebody understands any part of the story. I've been in a lot of parts of these different stories. And I'm not embarrassed to say it or ashamed in any way. The only way that I feel like a lot of times I can connect to my readers or the people that would enjoy my film is that because I can tell it from a perspective of sheer honesty. I never write what I don't believe. And if I don't believe in something, I can't write it authentically.
Hmm.
You understand? And so for me, it's always important to feel like that's why I think there's always a glimmer of hope in my book, because I want anybody to believe that no matter what you've gone through,
Hmm.
you can do anything against all odds.
And it is that glimmer of hope, and you're speaking that
Mhm.
you're speaking that through your writing, through your film, your filmmaking. How would you go about expressing that hope, giving those who want to get into filmmaking, want to have their work out, and it could be hope for others as well? What would be your advice?
You know, the thing is for me, I didn't really know in the beginning how I was going to do it, but somehow I really just believed that if I sat down with paper and pencil, and
Mm,
I would stay up all hours of the night, get up and go to work the next day, if I broke down every little intricate piece, ask for help. People really do want to see you
mm,
succeed. If you're around people that do not want to see you succeed, get away from them. They're not going to help you. Really, T.G. Jakes had a sermon one day, and I remember him saying, "You can't get anywhere, stand behind a parked car." So I just really thought about it. And I said, let me at least try. If I try and fail, at least I could say I tried. Right. And so try it. I went and got costumes. I worked endless jobs, saving thousands of dollars trying to put these films together myself because I finance them. I go out and hunt the costumes down. I figure out what the looks are. And then I ask for help. I pay those. I have those who volunteer and help me, bless their hearts, because without them, I wouldn't have been able to make these short films. So I say, try it. Don't ever give up on yourself. You don't know where it's going to go. I'm still climbing the ladder myself, you know? So let's see what happens.
And in seeing what will happen, you mentioned that you do have some upcoming projects in the making. And how has been that journey in putting it all together, or even, having the notion? I know you definitely have the experience, but, how has been this journey in putting it together?
This journey of putting the films together is amazing. Like I said, this is something, if I could do it for the rest of my life, between writing and making films, I would just do only that. Because that's one of my true loves, outside of cooking, of course. But that is one of my true loves. And like I say, you find what you can to fund it. You do the best that you can. I just keep plugging away. But my new project is Quotidian and Women Walking Uphill, which hopefully will both be filmed literally back to back. And then I have one more film after that. And I think after the 6 films, I'm going to see, like, hello, knock on a couple of doors and see if anybody's willing to let me get in there. Maybe they'll let me get in now, I don't know. Maybe I can do a commercial, maybe.
You mentioned about knocking on doors, and even maybe going to Trinidad or having some kind of connection with that industry over there. Have that ever crossed your mind, or is this something that you're interested in looking into?
I am interested in looking into going back to my homeland, and showing my films. I would really like to also, like, get my films into colleges right now, and also my books, hopefully being able to be studied in any way, or even for film, just coming for poetry in motion, creating these things that I didn't even think that I could even possibly do myself. And with the help, like I said, of so many people behind me, that if I began to list them, we'd be here for the rest of the day. But these are the things that I'm looking forward to, and scoping out. The other part is, like, you have to literally go around and scope out places and get access. And Tara Hunter Hicks is like, she'll call me. I got the graveyard. I got the cemetery. I got the park. I'm not by myself. And these were some of the first, her and Kaola Smallwood, Janice Reed, all these people are always in the background trying to, on the computer, they're looking for me. My sister, my daughter, everybody, Shanice, everybody, Shanika Findlay, they're all like, everybody's trying to help me because they really do want to see me do well. And it's really amazing. It's just, but when you have to feed the whole crew and get everybody there, it's amazing. I didn't know I could do it. I really genuinely did.
You mentioned a lot, and as we talk about this recurring theme of dysfunction and navigating through the maze, a lot of your props, as you mentioned, the ropes for lynchings, and some of the graphic
Yeah, have you
details.
seen the FX makeup on the end? People think a lot of times that video is finished, but if you go all the way to the end, I work for an amazing she works for me, Zane, and she does this FX makeup that I think we were all stunned. Like people were like, "Are these real injured people?" No.
You mentioned the cemetery as well. So all of these these props, are you connecting that, or do they speak on some sort of dysfunction?
A cemetery could never really be dysfunctional if you think about it. That's why my angel was in there.
Hmm.
It could never be dysfunctional. It's the last resting place. But people connect horror for some reason
Mm.
to a resting place. It could never be scary to me. Um, even my granddaughter Maya, who was in it, was walking by, and then my other granddaughter Anna, who was coming through
Mhm.
in some of those costumes. Those things, they're not horrific for me.
Mm. Oh.
Um, these, I really work really hard to make sure I don't
Mm.
cross certain path because horror is not something I do very well. I try.
Yes, yes. Even with the makeup as well.
Yeah,
As you mentioned,
those
yeah,
ladies are amazing. And my sister, honey, Vanessa, she can take. I told her, oh, I want to look have blonde and sticking up in the hair, and she's
right.
what? And I bring her a wig, and she's like, I don't understand. Next thing I know, I just transform into something between the makeup artist
Mm-hmm.
and my sister and Robert E. Knight and Sharon Peavy, who turns me into either the ringmaster or a Vera
Mm.
or any of these people. If it weren't for them, again, I come with the idea. I give them the opportunity, and that's another thing that we have to realize as artists. Like,
Mm.
believe that who is in your side on your side, believe that they have the talent to pull it off. Give them enough opportunity to shine also, because when they shine, you shine, everybody. It's a win-win for all of us. It really is.
So what exactly is it? You mentioned that, people would associate, certain images with horror, but you don't see it as that. What exactly do you see within these images?
The images that I try to create, I want it to be more mind-provoking
Mm.
than anything. I want you to take a moment to think. If someone is living their life on a broken wing, really ask yourself when you run into very negative people, what is that exactly? Why is it they can't seem to rise above whatever that thing is that's holding them back from joy? When the ringmaster is telling the story of Wednesday,
Mm.
on Wednesday, for the provocative things that she does, all the characters behind her are her mental split aparts to her mental state. What is that? Uh, ask yourself when you're in your personal heartbreak, are you okay? Check
Mm.
in with yourself. Feel everything. It's okay to feel everything, but come back to yourself. I try to give people a perspective of things of how I have felt, right? And so we've all been in very scary places in our lives.
Mm.
So you just
And I'm pretty sure many, many will be able to relate. And as you mentioned, giving a glimmer of hope. Many of us goes through different um, trials, tribulations in our
yes,
lives, and
we do.
um, having a voice, someone that could connect with, be some.
Believe in anything good in this world, if you believe in God, if you believe in anything power higher than yourself, you have to understand it's going to work itself out somehow. You can't see it sometimes when you're crying, but it does work out.
On that note, to get more information and to find out more about Pauline Findlay, how can how can the listening and viewing audience, get more information about your upcoming events?
Um, a lot of times my events are posted on Pink Trees Press on Facebook. For myself, I'm Ringmaster Sideshow on Instagram. On Facebook, I'm Pauline Findlay, just myself. And those things will be posted. And every now and then you can get a glimmer of me at Anateca Maria in Staten Island. So you want to meet me in person, that's probably the best way.
I want to thank you so much, Pauline. We will continually
Yeah.
be in contact. I want to thank you again
Thank you so much.
for,
I hope to see you at like one of the Fahrenheit readings, or I'll be in AWP in Seattle in March.
yes,
So I'll be there as well.
because we actually connected through familiar settings as well, right? We're both
Yes, we are.
writers. Yes.
Yes, you are.
So
Yes.
then we're connected some way or another. So I want to thank you for this engaging interview.
Thank you
I
so
wish
much
you
for having me.
all the best in your future
Thank
projects.
you. I
It
will
was,
be reaching out to you if you want to audition. No.
thank you so
Send some
much.
people my way.
I'm an actress at heart.
Oh,
I
absolutely. Well, okay. We're gonna talk.
am.
We're gonna
Okay.
talk.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so much.
very much,
I
Pauline. It was
appreciate
a
it.
pleasure having you. And
Thank
thank
you.
you to our viewing and listening audience. This has been Caribbean Focus. Have a good day. Be blessed. Bye bye.